Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the Trinity podcast, episode 77.
Kaboom!
Boom, back.
Law and Order edition.
There you go. Big up to James. He's involved in the Trinity as per usual. Per usual, you know, just
it's becoming a common thing now. Three times a week I'm coming here.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Puppeteer of you.
Big up to each and every single one of you, man. Do you know, this is going to be a good Trinity, actually. Obviously, of course, there's loads of opinions flying around. We got to talk about the latest news with Kobbie Mainoo because, you know, as early as late this morning, there's a lot coming out from the Mirror, Darren Lewis, a lot coming out from Simon Stone, who doesn't normally get involved in transfer business and all of that stuff. So we got to talk about that. And of course, we got to talk about the press conference that happened about, 25 minutes ago. 35 minutes ago. We haven't seen the embargoed bit yet, but there were some very, very interesting comments, some very interesting quotes from Ruben Amorim. And I want to kick things off. Yeah. And I don't mean... Have
you got something you want to get off your chest, Fleck?
I've got something I want to get off my chest. And I don't mean to rustle feathers and to piss people off. I want to talk about it objectively. Yeah?
Yes.
So, in the press conference... Ruben Amorim, rightly so, was asked, can he clarify what he meant with what he said after the Grimsby game?
Yes.
Does everybody agree with that?
Yes. Right. He was. That's what he was asked.
What he said was very, very interesting. He said, sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I want to be here for 20 years. Sometimes I love to be with my players. Sometimes I don't want to be with them. I need to improve on that, but now I'm good with the next one. Now that was I've actually probably read that not in the right order, to be fair. Because the first thing he says to Daniel Kahn, shout out Daniel Kahn from Sky, is he says, to be honest with you guys, I am who I am. This is how I'm going to be. I'm not going to change. He says, I'm not going to change. And you have to understand that, Owen, have you got the first thing that he said?
Well, it's funny, actually. It's a bit of a contradiction because it says, I'm not going to change in how I always change, basically.
Right.
Yeah, the quotes. He says, I know that when I speak these things, guys, to be really honest with you guys, every time that we have in future one defeat like that, I'm going to be like that. I'm going to say sometimes I hate my players, sometimes I love my players, sometimes I want to defend my players. I think I cannot. This is my way of doing things, and I'm going to be like that. And felt that in that moment, I was so frustrated and annoyed. And I know, again, you have a lot of experienced people talking about the way I should perform with the media to be more consistent, to be calmer. I'm not going to be like that. So I'm trying to accept that, and I'm going to be who I am. And that's why I have the passion that I have. And in that moment, I was really upset and really disappointed because I felt we had a very good preseason. We were playing better. We were being consistent in the way we played. We played badly 30 minutes against Fulham. And then that kind of performance, I was really disappointed with everything. But now it's a new game, and I'm focused on the next game. So in that, he has said, I'm going to be who I am. And I'm going to continue being who I am. But being who I am will mean situations whereby I got to say one day I don't like the players. One day I love the players. One day I'll say I want to quit. One day I'll say I want to be here 20 years. Fleck, would you think of a word to describe that? Do you have a term that could describe that, do you think?
Well, it sounds like flip-flopping, doesn't it? Shout out Ray on X. That's disingenuous, Flex, because I said the irony of fans telling other fans that they can't change their minds, but our manager's literally just told us that's what he's going to do. That's what he's on
a daily basis.
That's disingenuous, Flex. Ruben said he's over-emotional when we have disgraceful performances like that and does say things that he regrets, like the worst United team in history last season, albeit it's not a good look for the club. He is committed and working through it. So why can't fans... So hold on a second, Ray.
Wait a minute.
Ray on X.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
What are fans? And I'm not even coming here saying that, listen, I take back everything I said, that I don't think Ruben's going to turn it around. I'm not taking back what I said. That's my opinion. But this notion, like me and James was saying, and James was saying as he got in, like this notion that because that's what the real outrage was like. So, Flex, I expected better from you. You've changed your mind. You've changed. You've changed your mind. Yeah, fucking have. Well, yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, if you see something new and you don't change your mind, that doesn't make you better. That makes you stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what people are doing is saying that on one hand, they're telling fans on X, you're not a proper fan because you changed your mind in one game, or you're not a proper fan because you did this. Well, are they going to scream that Ruben Amorim is not a proper manager then? Because he said against Grimsby, I wanted to quit. Now facing Burnley, I don't want to quit anymore. What the fuck?
Yeah. In the hour after Grimsby, I think most people wanted him to leave, and the next day, a lot of people didn't. So it's like they're the same. We're the same. We're all the same.
We're the same.
Okay.
Not to mention that actually, when you separate fans from managers, like, yes, you can be over it. You can be an emotional character, a combustible character. It's loads of different type of characters you get as a manager, right? That's fine. But there does have to be a separation of, like, you can't be too. You are, like, and I hate to say the cliche thing, this is Man United we're talking about, but it's like, well, then when the media storm comes and everybody says, oh, the media just going to spin things, and you get angry at the media, bro, what do you think they're going to do now?
It's funny because Retrograded has mentioned it here. It's so true. Ruben used the KG approach, which is, hey, that's who I am. We have had this conversation with KG, that comedian, so many times, and his response is, well, I go, KG, why'd you say that? KG, why'd you do that? He goes, that's just who I am. That's just who I am. And also he goes, I'm not going to change in the future. He did. He went in a press conference and did the KG, which is who I am. Who I am.
Yeah.
But you know what? Fair enough. You know, fair enough for Ruben Amorim that he says that's what I'm going to do. That's what's going to happen in the future. I think when you do that and you say that, then you do kind of have to be, well, then what's going to come with it is going to come with it, kind of thing, right? If you're in a room of media and journalists that write shitty headlines, and you're openly sort of saying, look, I'm going to keep saying stuff that I maybe don't want to say, then you're going to have to accept what's going to come with that, right? But I do think it's irony of all ironies that
this is what he's saying after calming down.
And saying that I'm going to flip-flop based on the day because basically this is the point that you're making, James. That's how life works, isn't it? Some days you might think one thing. After some moments, you might think another thing. That's life. Frank Sinatra says, right? Frank Sinatra didn't say in this song, that's life. That's what people say. Once you've made up your mind, that's fucking it. You can't change it after that. I miss that lyric in the song. It would have been like catchy.
What would be the point? We sit there doing watch-alongs and we watch games together and we celebrate and we cry. Is it what you're celebrating? You're clapping at 5 minutes in and then they lose. Were you wrong for being happy 5 minutes into the game? No, because you're watching something happen and change in front of your eyes. And sometimes you're going to be happy and sometimes you're not. And the whole nature of sport is to have these emotional swings. That's the fun of it. That's the pain of it. That's the joy. That's the suffering in all of it. That is why we do it. And I think, to be fair to everybody, to be involved in some sport like this, you have to be a little bit emotionally unstable. I mean, I watched Pep Guardiola scratch his head off last season and come into a press conference bloody from his own nails because they were conceding goals. Like, give me a break, okay? And that's one of the most successful managers in the Premier League history. So there's a little bit of emotional instability that's in all of us in this, and otherwise we couldn't enjoy it so much when things go well.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear as well, again, in all honesty, like, all pettiness and stupidness aside, like, this is just what I mean, though, like, about the hypocrisy that is happening. Like, you know, I don't necessarily, not necessarily, I'm not coming here saying now that, you know what, I was too hasty after Grimsby. I do think Ruben's going to turn it around. I was just angry. I'm not saying that. I still feel the way I feel. I'm not as angry as I was, because that's an emotional thing. Ruben's very angry after that game, and you say stuff, and you know, a lot of the relationships we have with the players is like this as well. Of like, when they're doing what they're meant to be doing, scoring goal. Let's take Bruno for example. When he's scoring, when he's so reliable from the penalty spot, and he gets that assist or he gets that goal, and he just gets it, you're like, that's my captain, fucking Bruno. Then when he's spamming the ball out, bumping into the ref, getting angry, misses a penalty, blames the ref afterwards, you know, putting his foot on the ball, pointing, then gets the ball taken up. When he's doing that, I go mad. I go, fucking hell, bro, what are you doing? What, you idiot. What are you doing? Like, you can't do that. So if you're the manager working with these guys and you're in training with them, to see it from Ruben's side, you're training, you're seeing good vibes, because he literally says in the presser, I thought we had a good preseason. He's basically as perplexed as me. He's going, he's basically just done what we've done. Do you understand? Does everyone understand? Like, you see, like, he said, we played good against Arsenal. He's like, we played bad for 30 minutes against Fulham and then Grimsby. He's like, I had no choice but to think, fuck it, there's no improvement. I'm gone. I need to walk.
He's sort of like, he's going, I didn't really see that result coming either, the Grimsby one. I'm just
so when fans like are like, and I'm just gonna say myself, because I don't want to keep talking about everyone. So when I'm like, if you lose that, that's a sackable offense, and you lose the game in that way, the manager basically says that basically is a sackable offense. I need to leave. That was so rubbish. How is it that mad that you can change your opinion with the level of how bad one game is? Not saying everybody should or you're a clown. I'm not saying if you don't change your opinion after Grimsby, you're an idiot. But for people that have, I've said many times, even before I got to where I was the other day when I was super angry, I said, we can't be telling people who don't think Ruben is the right man that they're idiots. There's enough evidence to suggest that he might not be.
Well, again, they're not. It's the insults, and it's you're not a real fan, isn't it? We're back to that argument of what determines fandom again, right? Is it you're around the corner? You know, you're in the US like James. You're getting up at silly times of the morning, or you've never missed a game on TV for your whole life. You know, what determines this thing called fandom? There isn't an answer to it, right? This is all basically what James was saying, a part of being a fan. So I thought it was an interesting presser, to be fair. It was an interesting presser. And I do think in a weird way, I do think it kind of worked in kind of reducing the pressure, because they were kind of taken on the back foot by going, we didn't expect you to sort of just go, tough.
Too bad. That's me.
And he's
going to happen next time.
He's let us all know as well. And you said it when we did our preview earlier. It's coming out later. When you guys watch it, you laugh. Owen said, he's just given like all the fans and everyone like the biggest get out of
it's the biggest.
I don't feel like that anymore.
It's the biggest get out of jail free card. If you ever change your mind and someone goes flip flop, goes, well, our manager said it's fine. He changed his mind every day. It's cool. It's cool. So I'm thrilled with it.
I thought we had a good preseason. Now it's shit. That's what really said.
So it'll be like you changed your. Yesterday, James, I got accused because I read the news in our show. I said that United back AMORIM, and they said, "Oh, and now you're back in AMORIM." I read the news. All right. And even if I did change my mind, man just says fine. You know, some days I can, some days I won't. It's cool. I'll be like, this morning I felt AMORIM out. This evening I felt AMORIM in. Tomorrow I'll feel AMORIM out. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. For the record,
I mean, Infantino said it too, didn't he? Today I feel AMORIM in.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, today I feel Qatari. And was it Katuto? Sometimes good, sometimes maybe shit.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So away from right that bit. How do we feel? What do we feel about now? Let's turn it back to the manager in terms of being the Man United manager. James, is what he said, has he set the right tone? Is this what you want from a Manchester United manager? Does this show that, you know, he's in control, he's calmed down now, this is who I am, I'm not backing down? Or is it worrying that he's basically saying, I'm very emotionally unstable, like you're gonna get this from me?
I think it doesn't matter from my opinion, and that's kind of the stance I'm going to take on him moving forward. I mean, I thought Jose Mourinho at times over the course of his career was incredibly explosive, and obviously a major influence on Ruben Amorim. He could explode, and he could be good, and he could be bad, and he could be angry, and he could be upset, and he could be everything in between, you know. But then you've got managers who are completely composed that you're never going to hear explosions from. You've got guys like Ancelotti, you never know what they're thinking. They don't say anything. They don't show any emotion when winning or losing. I don't think there's a right answer. You just have to win football games. And I think what we always do is try to like ascertain this, like, this is the thing. This is the way one has to be successful. But there isn't one. It's not an exact science. There's no one way to do it, you know. And so I think he can be happy, he can be emotional, he can be not. Ten Hag was too robotic. Amorim's too emotional. Just win games. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, that's it, right? Like
no one will care. I
don't think there is a right way. So I don't.
But this is worse if you lose, though. If you're losing and you're erratic, it's worse.
Is it though? Like,
actually, no. Because if you're losing and you're calm, they say you're not.
I looked at Ten Hag and he was like, "We're losing games. We're shit. We're conceding 22 shots," and he's saying, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. The plan's good. The plan's good. That made me want to punch the monitor. At least I know AMORIM knows we're shit. Ten Hag, I always thought he thought we were actually good.
That's
now,
true.
You can disagree with me, but it bothered me more when Ten Hag would say, stick to the process. It's a process. We're good. We're good. Because I thought he didn't get that we were shit. At least AMORIM knows we're shit. That's how I feel. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody could see it the other way around. So I don't know what's better and what's worse, to be honest. I just want us to win some football matches.
Me too. Me too. I think that, and I do think we will win tomorrow. Famous last words, but I do think we'll win tomorrow, and I think again that will be it's needed, isn't it? Because it is confusing because what he's saying there isn't off the mark at all. Whereby your preseason was a better preseason than we've had in recent years, for what that's worth. The opening game against Arsenal, the only thing that was missing was a goal, and to actually win the match or get something out of it. And in the early stages of that Fulham match, you thought, "Wow, it's inevitable. We're going to score at this point. We've hit the post. Cunha's, missed like a one-on-one. It's going to be fine." And then we just kind of reverted back to old performances really, really quickly, and then everything's reverted back into meltdown. And if we get a win, I don't think it will calm all the noise, but it's just what's needed. It's all you can do. All any of them now can do is just win tomorrow, and that just again tempers things down just a little bit. We spoke about this yesterday, didn't we, James? Of I think that's whereby with what United put out yesterday of this. Just, he's going to be in charge. We're not worried about that. I think they're edging their bets on, we'll win at the weekend. Then people will be a bit more calm, a bit more rational. People will talk a little bit less. It's going to be fine. It's going to be totally calm. Yep. I feel like it's going to probably, that's what they're hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for as well. Because no one likes to be in this position, do you? You don't want to be, like you said, screaming and shouting, going, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's exactly where we want to be, apparently, because they can read our minds. But, you don't want to be watching your team go. We've been humiliated this week. Yeah. And after last year, I didn't think we could get more humiliated. I really, after Spurs,
you think it can't get worse. And it always can.
Yeah, I thought there's no way it can get worse than this. And Mick McCarthy, it can. So I just, we just need to win. That's the currency of football. I'd much rather be talking about earlier on this week. I thought it was getting heated with the Kobbie stuff. Let alone, I didn't think. I thought that was the most heated thing we were going to get this week about whether or not the Kobbie stuff was real or not. And then, that's secondary. We got to talk about that later on.
We'll talk about that later in the show. Definitely, let's get the super chats out. Carl says, firstly, F the racist morons. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Secondly, this manager is all over the place. If the ownership is going to make a change, it has to be soon. Can't afford another throwaway season. Space says, imagine living in a building that's about to crumble down, and instead of wanting to rebuild, you keep asking for a new landlord. Stop the sack saga. Connor says teams reflect their managers, erratic, emotional, and dogmatic. We will get relegated with this guy. Good coaches don't fail to improve after 45 games. And Bliff says, James, I thought Mainoo wanted to leave was all media spin. Thoughts? Believe it now that Ornstein reported it. Hold it right there, James. We're going to get into it. Yeah, we are gonna talk about that. Domingo says that Sir Alex Ferguson, Jose, Conte, Klopp, Pep, Ancelotti ain't finishing 15th and out of Europe with this squad. These standards aren't acceptable. And Nicholas says, I'm falling for the same trip. Talks okay, can't manage. And Biggie Third says, as you guys know, I'm the biggest AMORIM fan. Last season, I said I didn't know what it was, but he is the man. Now I know I was delusional. Wow, Biggie the Third.
What a flip-flop you are.
Yeah. Can't do that, mate.
No
shame on you. The manager does it. It's fine. You can do
that.
Okay. You're right. You know what? You're right. You're allowed to change your mind.
This is what we have to remember, guys.
Yeah.
We got it. We got
the head.
Some days.
Remember, guys, from the people who say you must support the manager no matter what. So if we're doing that,
Exactly.
remember, no matter what he says, what he does, no matter what the results are, if you're a real fan, you support the manager no matter what. So he's just said, "Why are you moaning at me for? I thought that yesterday."
Is this gaslighting? Are we gaslighting right now?
I don't think
yeah,
so.
probably.
I say no. I say no. I say it's a gaslight, but it's an enjoyable smell. You know what I mean? It clears
that
minds.
is definitely gaslighting.
Yeah, it clears minds. You know what I mean? It's good for you.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it is true. Like at the same time, the
true.
people that are saying just back the manager, be a real fan, don't change your mind after one thing. Well, then you should basically, it's okay to hold them accountable and say, well, I hope you're condemning Ruben Amorim then. I hope you are.
He should.
Come on, Ruben. This is because you know what that comes into? If you love the club, it's all about Man United for everything. Anyone who doesn't want to be here, they should go. If you don't want to be here, go. But then he's allowed to change back. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Prafamesh says everything Mourinho did was a strategic plan for him. No matter how temperamental he is, he might come out to be. Amorim, on the other hand, is just erratic. Nabil says the bottom line is you don't need tactics or formation to beat League Two team. You can change manager and we will be in the same position next year. Clip it. Okay. And Tag, big up to you, Tag, says, Flex, give me one player in the top 6 that is immune to substitution like Bruno, even when performing bad. The first one that came to my head was Odegaard, but he does come off here and there, doesn't he?
Subbed, yeah.
He gets subbed.
Well, he also pulls his hamstring every time.
Well, yeah. But Rice don't really have bad games.
I was going to say maybe Haaland.
Palmer?
Maybe Haaland City. Sometimes he gets taken off, but you leave him on because Haaland will literally not touch the ball for the whole game. And then
but
he's just kind of a specialist position.
Yeah. I think obviously Salah.
Van Dijk, but centre backs are generally not subbed once teams are well established anyway. Like you never sub your centre backs.
Yeah,
even Salah gets subbed. I mean, Salah's the only one I can think of, but he produces so consistently.
But again,
he gets subbed. I think he got subbed in week 1.
Get subbed.
It's kind of different because these players in those teams that we're talking about are more often winning than not.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
When they're subbed, they're tending to win, whereas we're more losing.
But to the point of what Tag's saying, he's like Bruno's way up there with like
absolutely
untouchable.
Yeah.
He also happens to be never injured, always fit, can play 90 minutes every game. You don't rotate him. Like this is like the 3rd game he wasn't starting in like 18 months. I know that Salah's been rotated more than that. I know that Haaland's been rotated a lot more than that and been injured and such. So it kind of opens the door for other players.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, let's talk about Kobbie Mainoo. Oh, hold on, Matthew guys on there. Super chat says, do you all think Amorim will adapt to formation changes once the bomb squad are gone? That's the change he was hinting after the Grimsby game.
No,
I don't think he's going to change.
He's not going to change. He's not going to change.
He's not going to change anything. He's not going to change formation. I don't know how much personnel he's willing to change. He has changed Onana, to be fair to him. He started that sort of mix up of you're not the guaranteed number 1 anymore, and we'll see who starts.
I think he will change personnel, but not the formation.
Yeah, but not the formation. Definitely not. Okay, so where are we at with this Kobbie situation? Because we've seen quite a few things happen during today. We saw Darren Lewis, shout out Uncle Darren, at the Mirror.
That was funny. That was funny this morning with Darren because he put it out and like 30 minutes later it was like he's not leaving and everyone was
did he
crazy.
Did he
no,
do a
he
separate
didn't.
thing?
He didn't. He didn't do a separate one. He put his thing out going, Kobbie wants to leave permanently. Well, he said to Man United, I want to go to Napoli. And there's like a 4-year deal, he said, or something on the table.
Yeah, on the table.
And then Fabrizio, like 20 minutes later, like it was within the hour, was like, he's not leaving. And everyone was like, see,
but Darren puts if you read the article, he says that too. The article,
he said
Man United have said no.
Yeah, but he was saying that Kobbie wants
to leave permanently. But he was saying
Kobbie
wants to leave permanently.
He says Kobbie wants to leave permanently, and then Fabrizio came out and said, no,
he doesn't want to leave on.
He wants to leave on alone.
Right, Ornstein's first exclusive on this was that he does not want to leave permanently as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday, like he was pretty adamant about that point.
So that's the thing of where, like you said, that is contrasting to Darren. That Ornstein and like you said, Romano are not going with a permanent line. It's very much he wants to leave on loan. He does actually, he doesn't want to sever his ties with Man United.
Yeah.
He just wants to leave for now.
Yeah.
So with all of that in mind, and if we rewind to the Ornstein bomber that dropped last night, that he does actually want to leave, though. That is what is true. Not permanently, let's leave that. But he does want out. And the club are saying no. Ruben Amorim is saying no. Fight for your place. Now, that's been met with some fans saying, absolutely, you're 20, knuckle down. If you want to spot as much as you say you want to spot, go get it. Others are saying, mate, the manager's already said you're only competing against Bruno. That's an impossible task. He starts every game. He never gets taken off. We just discussed that. Good afternoon, Minas. Big up to you. We see you in the chat. It's going to be an almost impossible task for him to get games. And how on earth could he not be competing with the likes of Ugarte and Casemiro? Why is it only Bruno? So where do we stand on this? Because we're now got a player who really does want to leave for the short term, and we're not letting him.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I want to make clear, because I answering that donation earlier, what I said many times was the club are not interested in selling him, and I think that's become really clear. Like, that is true here.
Yeah.
The club are not trying to get rid of him. That's what I've been saying for 6 months. That's what I was insistent on earlier in the week, because there was a bit of a narrative being created that the club are trying to force him out. But now it's flipped 2 days later to the opposite, and the club are saying, absolutely not. You're not going anywhere.
It's him.
We don't want you to leave at all. It's him, and not permanently either. Yeah. That's the thing. In an ideal world, he would like to stay at United for the long term. We can see that. He's obviously concerned about his playing time this season. That's the reality. Yeah. And I think it's a really interesting situation that is hard to look at, because I said that there was a plan for Kobbie Mainoo to be the guy who takes over from Bruno. Well, that's essentially been acknowledged. He's competing with Bruno. He's probably going to take over from Bruno, who's very likely going to leave next year at the latest. We can kind of see that now. It's all bubbling and building towards Bruno Fernandes leaving next season. There's been articles this week from like Chris Wheeler at the Daily Mail saying he's probably going to leave next season. Even possible. You're getting still things today, I think, saying he could go to Saudi even in the end of this window. It's still slightly possible, even if very little. But it's a World Cup year, and that is complicating the whole thing. And obviously, Kobbie Mainoo was not selected for the team. Exactly. Now, he wasn't selected in summer, and he wasn't selected in March. He was injured at that time, I think. So it's not particularly unusual in that sense. But obviously, he would like to earn his place into the team. He would like to be playing football. He would like to be there. And he does have this problem of running up against Bruno. Bruno, as you said, Bruno the undroppable, Bruno the unsubbable, Bruno the eternal, right? I mean, you could put all these labels on Bruno that we'd want to, because he's always playing. He's always playing. And it's just, yeah, it's a strange one. It's a tough one to deal with. And I think there is a big mix. I was kind of surprised by the opinions I saw on this. There's a lot of extreme negatives. You got to sack the manager for this Kobbie situation, which we can talk about in a minute. And then there's a lot of people saying, well, hold on a second. What's a 20-year-old demanding minutes in a team? Mm. And it's unfortunately is what I don't like about how it's gone and all the noise is I think it's just made it more toxic on both ends at this point. I'm not blaming Kobbie for what it's worth. I think it's a very reasonable thing for a player to want minutes. I'm not super excited about how much has been briefed about this since Monday in the media. I think it's too much. I think it could have been done quietly, all of this between the player and the club. But yeah, it's messy. It's messy. And I'm not sure there's even a right answer on this. I go back and forth either way. I think everybody would prefer he stays and plays, right? Like that's what we'd all want as fans, I think, for the most part. I think we would all agree on that, for him to stay and for him to play football at United.
I totally agree. That was kind of what I was saying this morning, that I don't think there's a resolution that gets done either way. I think it is complicated by the fact that he's so young and has got so much so quickly. If this was a regular 20-year-old player that hadn't played as much for Man United and his country, if Kobbie hadn't had the run at the Euros that he had last year, I don't think we'd even be talking about, can he make the England squad? Would it be that? Exactly. It'd be like he'd be playing in the under-21 still, and it would be like, but it's because he did get in that England squad. He did play in the Euros. He did get to the final. So because of all of that, he's like, well, that's my bar. The bar's been set now. Anything else beneath that, if I didn't even make the England squad, what a drop off that's been. I've experienced it. I played in a major final for my country, so how me not getting the squads now, of course, it's gonna frighten him. And to James's point too, with the reporting, a lot of it, not all of it, obviously, but a lot of it has turned out to be pretty accurate in the sense of it was said, wasn't it, that in 48 hours they're going to have a meeting about his future. On Thursday, they absolutely had a meeting about his future, and then the article came out from David Ornstein. So the sources, whether it's from Kobbie's side or United side, or probably a combination of both, are accurate that there is an issue here. And if it wasn't a World Cup year, I think Kobbie would probably be more than prepared to be like, you know what, I'll be out the side. Bruno will be gone next year. It's not an issue. I'm 20.
Yeah.
But it's because it's a World Cup year and he played in the finals last time with England. It's just got the waters have got a bit more muddied about this.
They have. And I said many times already, is Morton in it? Yeah, he is. James has just sent me through the quotes there as well, which is
from Tuchel, which makes it really obvious what's going on. Yeah.
Which is really obvious, and this is why Kobbie absolutely wants to leave. We knew this would happen. I said he's not going to get an England team. He's not going to be able to get into the qualifiers, and if this continues, he's not
he
going
wants
to
to go on loan. He wants to go on loan.
That's
when you
why
say
he
wants to leave, people go. He doesn't want to leave.
This is why he wants to go on loan.
He wants to play football. Let's be real.
He wants to play football. Yeah. Thomas Tuchel on Kobbie Mainoo's admission from the England squad. He says sometimes the changes in your club are not in your favour. He's just lacking minutes. I don't think he lacks anything else. He has the experience. He has the power. He has the quality, the talent to be on our list. He is on our list of players, but at the moment in his position, the 6, the 8, and the 10 in central midfield, we have players who are in full rhythm and who play key parts in their clubs. And this is the next step for him. So that's completely logical I don't think anybody is shocked that Kobbie Mainoo is not in the England squad. We knew this was what would happen. This is why Kobbie is angling for, the loan move so strongly, because he can foresee this coming. So for me, I'm not that makes complete sense. You look at people like Elliot Anderson, you look at Adam Morton, they're playing every single week, vital roles for their team, and you just knew they were going to overtake Kobbie Mainoo. And that is through a mixture of, he hasn't even been healthy for a lot of the time. He's been injured. He's been injured. Yeah. The manager changed, like Tuchel saying there. Sometimes your circumstances of the club just don't help you. And unfortunately for Kobbie, he's had a mixture of injuries, manager changing, and then just the chaos of United, where the manager's got to stick with a certain thing just to keep his own job. And he hasn't really had a chance to look at him and then, to include him in that way. And then you look into this season, the manager has made a decision to say, you're now competing with Bruno Fernandes. Kobbie wanted the loan. He's not going to get a loan. So now what are Kobbie's options now? Well, he has to. Do you think
he got call, by the way, from Thomas Tuchel? Do you think, again, that's not...
I think so. Started this, 100%.
Yeah. Because this was bubbling in the sense of, obviously... Because
it's only been 2 games. It's too fast if there wasn't like an exterior force acting upon the situation. It's too quick otherwise.
It feels like it's been bubbling for a while in the sense of, obviously, the contract stuff's gone on and all that stuff. And then obviously he hasn't played those first 2 Premier League games, which exacerbated it a bit. But it feels like there was smoldering flames there. And then something has happened earlier this week or whatever that's just poured a lot onto that fire. And it feels like it's probably like a phone call or some kind of thing of like, hey, you're not in the squad. And just by the way, if this carries up, I can't pick you as often as maybe you want. So just so you know, kind of thing. Which feels like then suddenly Kobbie, he wants to go on loan. Suddenly Kobbie, maybe he wants to leave. And it started something. It feels like it started something. But again, I don't think there's going to be a resolution. I don't think anyone's going to be happy.
He's going to stay.
And so this is what I'm saying. So with this, Kobbie's going to stay, and here's the bit of where I really want to see what people's thinking about this is. And you guys in the chat, let us know. This is exactly what it's about, right? Do we think that the window shuts, the noise goes away? Kobbie clearly is unhappy because he wants to go on loan and he's not been allowed to go on loan. He doesn't think he can get past Bruno, or some people may say he doesn't have the stomach to put your head down and work hard enough. I don't know, whatever people think. How do we think this is going to play out? Is Kobbie going to get enough game time? When we're like, don't worry, there's enough games, he'll play enough. Will it be off the bench because, you know, Mbeumo might come off and then that puts Bruno into the 10 and then Kobbie gets to come on. Is there a way in any game where we see Bruno not start in that central midfield position where he's on the bench and Kobbie plays? Or is it more of one of Koeman and Mbeumo? They're not going to start every single game. There's going to be rotation. Sometimes Bruno will start in those 10s. And when he does, Kobbie will start in the 6. How do we... And then is that going to be enough by the end of the season, coming to looking at getting on the plane to go to England and just Kobbie's development? Is that going to be enough? Is he going to be happy with that? How do we feel with that?
I don't know.
I'm shaking a head.
It's hard to know, right? Like, because look, I obviously I think he's going to play football over the course of the year. Like, there's no way we're not going to make changes. There's no way we're not going to make substitutions. There's no way over the course of the year there's not going to be 0 injuries and 0 routes into the team for him. All of that. But I did have my biggest complaint that I have right now, where even though I'm in my present stance, I'm saying, you know, I want AMORIM to stay. I think this is a consequence of one of the decisions that doesn't make sense to me. We're trying to build for the long haul, right? We're trying to do this. This has been the message. We're talking about the long haul. The briefs over Ruben Amorim is about the long-term project, right? It's about why are we not reacting to one result and sacking the manager because he's here for the long haul? Well, if we're doing that, the thing that doesn't make sense, and I was saying this yesterday before this news came out and most of summer, and it worried me when we were on the preseason tour. We spoke about it a few times. I said, why is it always Bruno and Casemiro together? Why is it always Bruno and Casemiro together? Because Casemiro's 33 years old. He doesn't offer us anything, and he's not even going to be here. He's sticking with United for work experience so he can stay in the Brazilian national team for next summer. That's what he's doing. We know it, right? He's practically said it. You know, it's been briefed out there from all sorts of places. Bruno is essentially doing the same thing. He's staying here because he doesn't want the uprooting before the World Cup, and he wants to have a stable environment.
That's true.
Everybody's everybody's doing this thing for this World Cup next year. But why are we allowing this? Why are we buying into this? If we're building for the long term, why are we playing Bruno and Casemiro as our starting players? They're not going to be here next season. Why are we building that relationship? That doesn't matter. Why is that the team? Like, I can accept not getting the best results in every game if we're actually building for the long term. But the worst thing you can do is be not building for the long term and not getting results at the same time.
100%.
And that's why I'm not sure. I'm like, if he was playing Bruno and Kobbie together and you say, it's a little bit weak, fine, but it's not Casemiro. It's not Casemiro. It has a future. It's doing something. Then I'm okay with it. And that's my biggest criticism right now of Ruben in this situation is if we're going to commit to the long haul, then do it. Don't say one thing and do the other. Don't have one intention and do the other. I want to see it on the pitch.
And it is hard in terms of committing to the long haul, because also if you think about like a batch of new players that just got here, speaking of the long haul, they are the future. It is a little bit back to Ruben because it's still irking me a little bit, this thing that he's been saying the more I'm thinking about it. It's like, but what does that look like then to them? What is the message? Like, they've just been here and they're in their first 3 competitive games and the manager's saying publicly, I think I want to quit. No, I don't. If they piss me off again, then I do. And I know people can say, listen, it's just passion. You know, you should be able to display passion. He's still there. He hasn't quit. That's the main thing. But like,
maybe they might be the same flex. Maybe they might be maybe Mateus Cunha's probably just as erratic as that, right? You know, 3 games missed penalty.
I mean, their performances are just as erratic. So
there's a thing with Alexis Sanchez, wasn't there? He did 1 training session. Oh, I'll go back.
But the manager's supposed to be the one that gets you out of that. Like, as a like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? The more I'm
players nowadays, I think players nowadays, you've got so many people surrounding you or whatever. I don't know if it works like that anymore in football. You know what I mean?
There has to be. But then I just feel like I just think we're just glossing over. Like, the more I think of it, I think it's alarming if you're going to be.
But hasn't Kobbie just asked about leaving the club after 2 games as well? Aren't the players doing the same thing?
But he can see that, but it's not. But the reason why he's doing that is because he can see that long term, that's what it looks like. It's not just like, oh, I've learned this thing. It's like,
I totally agree. I totally agree that you would hope to see more emotional stability. If anything, I don't know, maybe if we've ever had a manager and a captain that has ever reflected the fan base so much. We're all the same. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. My brain's telling me it's probably not the best thing. I would hope people in positions of power aren't that reactive. I don't know. It's a good thing. It's a good thing when you're winning. It's a good thing when you're winning. It's a good thing when you're winning. It's a bad thing when you're losing. I think it's probably. That's what I'm saying.
But then the bit that James did say, it does come into it. Like if you're gormless and really calm and it's all burning down around you, and you're like, "Listen, we're going to be good. It's fine." But if we think about it, like.
Because Ten Hag, James is spot on with that. Eric Ten Hag, when he was, when we would lose, and he would go, "Look, we win trophies, or we do this, we do that."
Garnacho was offside 6 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do that shit.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Or I've never had my team. I've never played my team ever. I've never had.
But then we're talking about. But then that's where we've got to use our sense and be like. We're not asking for the perfect character. It doesn't exist.
What are we asking for? I don't think we know.
I was about to say what we're asking for. We probably you're probably asking for somebody in the middle, but
we're not asking for someone in the middle.
I don't think
someone in the middle, we won't like it. We're not asking for what we're asking for.
Well, what you can't do we agree? Like again, we talk about media scrutiny at the club, how much interviews it's got to do, and this club is different. We have to treat ourselves as different from the other clubs, right? This club is different when you manage this club. If you're the number 1 goalkeeper for this club, if you're the number 9 for this club, like if you're the captain at this club, it's all intensified, all of it. And if you're going to be doing that, that's not good. That's not good. I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good to be saying, I don't think that's good for the Manchester United manager to be saying, I'm going to keep doing this.
Oh, he made a run for his own back. Oh, of course he has. Of course he has.
So when we get stuffed against City, then you're going to say you want to quit again, and then we have to go play.
That's what we do.
But
as long as it's one of those situations where the powers that be at Manchester United know that's what they have signed up for. They have signed up for that. That's why. In fairness, I kind of rate Ruben for coming out and saying it. I kind of go, look, guys, this is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to change.
But then he does say. But then he says he flip flops in the same thing because he says I'm not going to change. Get used to it. And then he says it's something I have to work on.
But also as well, these press
which one is it?
These press conferences are bullshit. Anyway, all full of lies.
I mean, look, there's a couple of factors. It's like what
but they're not,
public versus private is different,
things.
though.
Yeah.
But what does he say in the dressing room? What do you think he said in the dressing room after that? Because that's more important than what he said to the media.
But he said, "I felt like I wanted to quit." He's confirmed.
We can't do here.
He is saying again, we're losing. I feel like he's just said. After Grimsby, I felt like I wanted to quit. So that means when he did get in that dressing room, he probably would have said, because he was saying the players spoke for me and this, that. So that night when he was still angry, by his admission, he did probably go in the dressing room and say, do you know what? I don't even know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. You lot fucking shit, piss me off. You know what? They can't change 22 of you, so it's going to have to be me. And then he probably got on the bus in silence. But then
maybe that's a good thing. We don't know. Yeah. Like managing people is not an exact science. We don't know what is effective. And the issue is, it's just we can't decide what's correct. We just can't. We can't. We won't know. There is no way to know what is correct on this. Like,
please stop creating things.
We've had managers of all different emotional stability. All different emotional styles, all different management styles. And you know what? The players still are erratic and the players still don't perform when it suits them. So I don't know what the answer is. Maybe he's trying something different. Maybe they think this will have an impact on some of these guys. I mean, I don't know. We just don't know. There's no way to know what's going to work or not.
That's why I say that regardless, irrespective of whether you think what AMORIM said and done is good or bad, myself personally, I feel like when I was listening, I was going, well, I'm not sure about that response. I don't think that's the right road to go down. But I will openly say, I think us collectively as a fan base, we don't know what we want as an alternative in terms of a personality type, because every personality type we've had we get angry at stuff that they have said. Whether it is Jose going, respect, you can't be doing that as Man United manager. Whether it's Louis van
Football
Gaal
heritage. It's
going,
my favorite one of all time.
Yeah, Louis van Gaal, enjoy the mince pie and the wine. Oh, he's cracking. Eric Ten Hag, he's too robotic. David Moyes, he's out of his depth. Ollie, it's done by fine margins, and it's about how hard you run and kick the ball. He's clueless. He's a PE teacher. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Whether it's Ruben Amorim saying, I am who I am. It doesn't matter. Some days I want to quit. Some days I want to stay for 20 years. There's no right answer, unfortunately, is there? And like I say, and James mentioned this earlier on too, if you're winning, nobody gives a flying fuck about it. They don't.
Okay, let's talk about that then.
If Ruben Amorim comes out, if we win those games, and Ruben comes out and says that, we don't care. Oh, Ruben, he's such a character. You know what I mean? But if we're losing,
he did say all this at Sporting too, by the way, in his early days. He said the exact, and then he went on to win. So it's not like it stops you from winning. I'm not saying he'll win here because past performance doesn't equal future.
This doesn't mean he's going.
He did say all of that, and then go on to be their best manager ever. So it's like it's not a yes. You can't predict based on that, but he did all that and then won. So we know it doesn't mean he's for sure going to be shit, or that he's for sure going to win. It means nothing in that respect.
How do we feel about improving this? Let's just talk about that. Show was saying that. I've seen a few comments from Show. Shout out to you saying, listen, forget this press conference stuff. Forget what he said. Let's talk about on the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care what he says. Win.
Yeah.
Win.
Okay, that's fine.
Just win
because then this is where you do have to talk about the manager, because it's his principles, it's his system, it's his training, it's his players he's bought. This is where the manager's still involved in this. Do we think we're going to improve? Are we going to go on a good run? Are we going to show the improvement we need to do under this manager? Do we think that?
No, I don't think not to the level that it's needed, if that makes sense. Like you know who I think of whenever you say go on a run or improve whatever. I think of poor Frank and his hair. Yeah, United Strand. Yeah. Is he going to be able to get a haircut? Once for yes, two for those in the chat. Is Frank going to get a haircut this season?
No,
in March.
Okay.
Yeah,
if we were in more comps, I'd be with you, because he's counting all to competitive, but we're not in many comps. So
we're going to win the FA Cup too, though. We're going to win the FA Cup too. Don't you forget it.
I mean, like, because so Owen, you know, this is what I mean. Not technically, you're saying, I can't give a shit, basically, what he says. You know, it's about the thing. So then when we actually just pivot the conversation to, let's talk about the football. Let's talk about the work that's gone on in nearly 50 games, the work that's gone on in this season where the manager's also, you know, really shocked with what he's seen. Do we feel like he's going to turn it around? And you don't feel like he will. I'm not just trying to put you on blast. I don't feel that either. No. But it's interesting that it's like, even away from that, then the confidence still isn't there.
Well, you know what it is, is so people will rightfully so. They'll point to the Arsenal game and say, we play well in the Arsenal game and what have you. But that feels like the outlier.
And I was positive after that.
That feels like the outlier, and it was, and by all accounts, the reports were so with the United players as well. Remember that report after the Arsenal game? They feel like they finally turned a corner, and that finally goes to show, despite the result, they played well, and they feel like they're finally turning a corner. But those games against those big teams haven't been the issue for us. We've played well in big games. When we play the smaller teams, that's when we underperform. The smaller the team, the bigger the underperformance, it feels like. And that has been a common thread, and that has spilled over. It's just difficult because so far this season, because tomorrow is our third Premier League game. Like, that's why tomorrow's going to be so interesting, because if it's another average performance, even if we win, but it's a shitty performance, then it'll be like, well, actually, nothing has changed, it feels like then, because once again, against a small team. Because at home, didn't we beat all the newly promoted sides at home last season? We scraped by them all, didn't we? Like, we beat Southampton. Ahmad had scored a hat-trick in like 7 minutes at the end of the game. Ipswich, we went 1-0 down. We actually played okay that day, but we won. Who was the other newly promoted side last season? Leicester. We beat Leicester at home.
Pretty handily, though. But
that was rude, wasn't it? Was that rude? No, what was that?
No. We won 3-0 with Amorim after the.
With Amorim, but Rude won one as well.
Yeah, I remember. We beat him twice, or 3 times.
I'm thinking about FA Cup at home, aren't we? I'm thinking about FA Cup at home when
FA Cup was Rude.
We had played him twice in 2 weeks or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So we should, by that metric, we should win tomorrow. Newly promoted side should be just enough. I don't know if I'm expecting like radical improvement, but at this point, I don't really care for that. At the moment, I think he just needs results to get himself some more time. Do I think we're going to get?
Yeah.
Do I think we're going to get to that point of like we're playing like Sporting when they were played like Man City in the Champions League? In my brain, I just cannot picture that happening at the moment.
Tag has gifted 5 UV memberships. Big up to you, Tag. Very generous of you. Thank you, bro. Semex Football says, Mainoo getting to the World Cup isn't Man United's problem. If he wants to play, he needs to do better than Bruno, which he hasn't on Wednesday. It's his job to compete. See, I
just think Kobbie out midweek. Everyone was awful.
Everyone was awful. But also this thing,
yeah.
I think the thing of doing better than Bruno, though, I feel like it's not a fair fight. I don't think it's fair to say, like, if you don't do better than the guy who is the one for all the goals and assists and the captain who's undroppable wherever he plays a 0 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, then you just don't have the heart for the fight.
If you don't do better than the person that it doesn't matter how he plays, then you've already lost.
Well, I said that
unless we
Sunday,
see something different from the manager.
On Fulham, I said that on Sunday when he first came out with the things. I said, it's fine if you're competing with Bruno. If it's a competition, then it's got to be an actual competition where when Bruno's shit, you're actually taking him off. And so far, we haven't seen that.
The first game shows Kobbie it's not. So if you're Kobbie, again, put yourself in the player's shoes. We always think as fans, you're paid by this club, you do as you're told. If you don't want to be here, see you later. It's not as easy as that sometimes for Semex football. Like, if I'm Kobbie Mainoo and I'm looking at how Bruno is viewed at this football club and under this manager, and forget that, just look at the last game against Fulham. It tells you everything you need to know.
I think
the manager's not going to hook Bruno.
Yeah, I think if he was told,
the concept's okay,
it's going to be fair. Yeah, exactly. I think if he was told, if he was said you're competing with Bruno, and he was told, look, if Bruno's not playing, if you're playing better than him, and I mean, then I'll make sure you get in there, and if you can, I'll drop you for him or whatever. Then I think you'd be like, you know what, fair enough. I think it's more just the feeling of it's not going to be like that. You know what I mean? It's just not.
It's not. Especially under AMORIM. And AMORIM really backs Bruno. And I back Bruno. I mean, I don't hate Bruno. I don't want him to leave. But I don't want him to play in this position. And if he's playing poorly, he should be taken off. Dwayne says, I said this would happen when he went to the Euros. Of course, any young player will want to get back in their international team. Egos get hurt and toxic. I don't know if this is ego, though. Like, it's fine to want to progress your career and not miss stuff out. Like, Kobbie could break, God forbid, Kobbie could break his leg after this Euro and never play football again. Like, you can't.
I don't know, but that is a bit of a wild one. Of he played in the European Championship final with his country, and he wants to play again in a major competition.
Yeah.
The ego on you.
Ego.
That's a bit much.
Is that what Dwayne's actually saying, though? Of course, any young player will want to get back in there.
Can I ask you guys, because given you guys are English and I'm not, so this is a weird one. This is one where it's harder for me to understand certain aspects. What was the reaction like a long time ago to some of the? Because I know there was some issues with country versus club back in the day, even with United back with
Still is.
there. What was the narratives about all of that back then? I mean, how is it taken by club fans when players do seem to prioritize the national team? I mean, Luke Shaw was getting a ton of shit for playing in the Euros in that same summer, because he came back and then got injured again.
In the 90s, it wasn't really, because it felt like, if anything, they maybe prioritized their club over their country a lot more. Because Sir Alex, would on international breaks tell players don't go. I need you here. You need to be rested. And within the England squad, like United players hated Arsenal players and this, that, and the other. So it wasn't like that. In the 2000s, when more recently, when it started to be the opposite of when like Maguire would go, I really like going on international duty.
They all love each other.
And like you said, or Shaw would only play that. That really rubs people the wrong way, I think. I think it really rubs. And I don't know, because obviously we're biased as United fans. So I'd love to know what a non-United fan feels about that. Because they probably are just like, I only care if they play for England. I don't give a shit what they're doing at United. But as an English United fan, it does piss me off, because you're like,
well, we're one of the only nations, though, that were like that. When like Rio tells stories of like, when me and Scholesy and all that are in flipping Carrick, we're in thing. We ain't sitting there with Jamie Carragher and flipping and Gerrard and them man there, McManaman or Owen, and we're not doing that. Do you know what I mean? Or the Chelsea boys, John Terry and Lampard are over there. They're not sitting with the Arsenal boys and that. Like, that's not how it went. And actually, that's not good for your country. That's where it's so tribal in England with the hatred between all the clubs. But in Germany, you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get the players from Bayern going, I ain't sitting on them table with the players from Dortmund.
Most of the Germany squad, though, isn't it?
Well, actually, it's mostly from Bayern. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's so much rivalry and so much different players from different. We probably have more of that than any other country. But Gareth Southgate, that was one of the big things he did change in the England team, was that they all wanted to be there. They all loved it. You know, you look at someone like Declan Rice will get on with, you know, Luke Shaw, or, you know, whoever plays for Liverpool. You know, Trent would be getting, he's not in it now, but he'd be getting on with Marcus Rashford. They're good mates and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? That never used to happen.
Well, United's so shit as well that it's almost easy for Southgate in that regard, because if you just create a good atmosphere, and United, we know the atmosphere within the club's been so bad for so long. It is a nice. Do you know how mad it is that they can go to play for their country, England, like one of the most scrutinized footballing nations in the world, and that's less pressurized than playing for United. They go, "Whoa, so much lighter," yeah, because Man United's so big that it's like I need to go to play for England, get out the spotlight a little bit. You know, it's mad, but that's the size that we are. It's mad, absolutely mad.
Dwayne's all right. We said Dwayne's one actually. Big up to you, Dwayne. He also says work on off the ball game and play next to Bruno. Yeah, but he doesn't have that's what I mean. The manager's saying that's not your role. Exactly that. If there was a pathway of like you're competing for a space in midfield, you got to work on your mobility, your physicality, your awareness, your spatial, you know, this, that, and the other. No problem. Kobbie's got to improve. That's fine. No one's saying he's a finished article. But the manager's not saying that. Like you're saying, you got a hands up on him because you're like, well, that makes sense. You know, play next to Bruno. Why not? Why can't we see that? I don't know if that would necessarily work, because I think the partner next to Bruno does have to not look like Kobbie potentially, but that's at least something for him to aspire to be able to do. Tomo says, I'm just so sick of this formation. 4-2-3-1. Everyone starts. Our striker, our 3 number 10s, Mainoo in the 2. Euro Delit centre backs. I'm banging my head against the wall. No one else sees this. A lot of people have said that.
Although I think that's somewhat revisionist, because I remember a time where we hated 4-2-3-1. I'm begging someone to come in and play something other than 4-2-3-1.
Pissed about it. 6 years of 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I remember.
It's so defensive. It's so defensive. Why are we playing 2 number 6s every game?
I remember. McFred, right? Yeah, 2 defensive midfielders. Ollie, please, just do that.
But it's all about the personnel. It's not even about. I'm saying, like you said, because it was McTominay and Fred together that probably didn't complement each other. It was like, don't play this, don't play that.
We had Kobbie in a pivot in a 4-2-3-1 under Ten Hag.
Yeah, we did.
It was not any good,
and Ten Hag got sacked.
We were still bad.
Midfield's so open, Kobbie can't run. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do 4-2-3-1, Eric. It doesn't work. 3-1-6. Oh god.
If 25 can only tackle, is in Ugarte, isn't it? Can only tackle. Then get a more technical player next to him. If 18 doesn't have the legs, just get someone who has next to him. All could be helped by playing both in midfield 3 with 37 and 8.
These numbers are
there you
confusing
go. Yeah, well, I think that was Bruno, Kobbie, Casemiro, and Ugarte. Yeah. Dewey says AMORIM is crazy, man. Bipolar as hell, as F. Footy says Sir Alex was very reactive, especially with referee decisions. Not comparing to this. Please think back to his pressers. And
you've got to win game. Winning. That's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah. Dwayne, don't be surprised if we beat City and Chelsea, then we lose against Brentford. After all this is Manchester United. Agreed. Michael says, although I will be surprised if we beat City and Chelsea. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I get what you're saying, bro. Guys, I'm broken, says Michael. I can't get behind this anymore. He's getting schooled every week. He can't win games. If Kobbie can't get in a side that finished 15th after he's put a 10 in central midfield, then the problem is Ruben. Strong words there. And Agia says, can we invite a sporting fan to talk about Ruben? Yeah. Do you know what? Or one of the Portuguese journalists. I'm going to get in the phone book. I can arrange that. That's a good shout. Dwayne says, guys, strap in. We are shit with good players. Dwayne's on one, bro. He's on one. C1 Chaos says, Flex is right. You guys are underestimating the importance of leadership. The team embodies Bruno, who is erratic, and now they have an erratic manager. Up the Mariners. Oh, shout out to Grimsby Town fans in the chat. Who you guys playing in the second round of the Carabao Cup?
I didn't even believe that.
Fair play, mate.
I didn't even believe it's a proper Grimsby. I think someone might have made that. You know,
but to just do the right thing, because we are Banter FC, like we can't hide. There's nothing muggy. You can say, oh, it's only the second round. No, fair play. We're not playing anyone because you knocked us out. There you go. Kuram says, even if we bought Baleba and a goalkeeper with this manager, would things be different? We have Ineos above the manager who have to actually be a little ruthless and act like a big club we claim to be. And Doughboy says, Flex, there have been times when you say shut the channel down, but you don't. Maybe that's what Ruben is doing. Yeah, correct.
Exactly.
And this is why I'm saying I'm allowed to do it. Leave me alone and let me do it. Let me say it. That's my point. And this is what I said to someone on X, actually, where I'm going, I think you're misconstruing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to change your mind on things. You know, I'm saying this, our manager's doing it. So why are fans telling other fans that they can't? There's a different conversation when the manager does do it, though, because I would like to say he's got a little bit more responsibility than any one fan. You're the actual manager of Manchester United Football Club. So there's different conversations which we've just gone through about, does it really matter that he's that unstable? Does it matter that he's saying that? Some people think, yes, it's not a good reflection. Your team reflects who the person... You know, you see it with Arteta a little bit. Remember, some people say he's too emotional, running up and down the thing, and he's doing all this, and that kind of rubs off on your team. Versus if you're too passive, Graham Potter's just kind of, a bit nicer. So I suppose, like you say, it's just you've got to get your team to...
Only an issue when you're not winning. That's it.
Yeah.
If Louis Van Gaal, when he didn't come off the bench and he had his little file of facts there, whatever. If you win every single match, look at a cool, calm customer he is. When you're losing, get off the fucking bench. Tell your players to do something. You know what I mean? It's the results. It's all on the results.
Dwayne says, what I mean is that he was fast-tracked, hasn't had a full season yet, bombed with injuries. Maybe it's not an ego thing. Shouldn't put it that way. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so you maybe phrased it what you're saying, Dwayne, because you said about Kobbie's ego. But to be fair, you make more sense there when you're saying that, bro. To be fair, fast tracked in, done really well, and then loads of injuries, etc., etc. Sir Ryan says Ruben is a manipulative liar who's out of his depth. Wow. Hey, let us know what you're saying, Ryan. He will say whatever to deflect from him being shite. He's not a victim. He's in charge. Strong words from Sir Ryan. And Max says, could Kobbie getting less minutes be a blessing in disguise? We always talk of how our youth are overplayed and aren't shielded as a result. Big up, lads. And Shabillionaire says, we believe flip-flop Ruben Amorim about Kobbie Mainoo versus Bruno in central midfield. Do we believe him? Is he just going to change his mind? I said he had to compete with Bruno. Now he doesn't. It's just true.
He might. He
might just stick him right next to him tomorrow. Yeah. He might stick Bruno into 10.
Yeah.
Kobbie in there.
Maybe.
Exactly. One says, what football can we create without qualified wing-backs? Dorgu, Dallo, and Ahmad don't know the position. And Dwayne says, by the way, where the hell is Le Mans? Bro, we don't got 20 million. Where's the 20 million? Why have we not got?
I can't agree. A fee seems like, isn't it? They can still
I think there's a small.
What's gone under the radar because of all of the shit and Grimsby and Fulham and the manager and this is that, bro, the window shuts on Monday and at the moment we've only signed 3 players. Yeah, are we gonna? We need a 6. We need a goalkeeper. You've already made it clear that Onana's. There's stuff going on there.
And
are we going to like? We haven't been linked with no midfielders.
There was stuff today as well, like with Sancho as well, going like, there's like a real possibility he might not go because it's not like a Kobbie situation for him. Like, I think if he could take a year out of just training at United, he probably would.
He would, yeah.
Just be like, I get my money. He might, or they say, look, you don't have to come into the training ground. I'm not playing.
There's a new GTA coming out soon. He's got plenty to keep himself occupied.
He'd be like, why not? Why not? I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't even be shocked at all.
Agreed.
I just want to mention one more thing. I know we're going to end the show here, but one thing I do think is a bit funny is I think the Kobbie situation probably makes it almost impossible for Amorim to get sacked in the near future. Simply because when you've put this situation on here of like almost like a player versus a manager, they're going to make a serious point of backing the manager on this situation because they kind of have to. They can't have anything look like, oh yeah, Kobbie's not playing, he wants to leave, therefore we're going to sack the manager, because they can't do that. They can't do that. Regardless of who's right or wrong in this situation, you can't end up sacking or changing manager because a player's unhappy about their playing time, and it's become this public issue. And I think that kind of changes things a little bit here.
Does that change if we lose though tomorrow? Like if we lost tomorrow, then it becomes not. It's because it doesn't feel like it's like Kobbie versus Ruben in that sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like that yet, because it's like, like Pogba versus Jose. It's nowhere near like that level or anything like that.
No, but that was so public because they literally, Pogba gave him the death stare. That was a public thing, head to head. I think this. I'll be honest. I think a lot of people do see this as a Ruben versus Kobbie thing because
they do,
because you're not winning games. You're not. You're choosing not to play him, and we think he's good, and you're losing every week. So
if Ruben got sacked, I don't think people would be like, "Oh, Kobbie won that."
If he got sacked, they would. They 100% would. They really would.
They'd like, be more focused on the results. I'm just like, yeah, it's a leg to stand on. You know what I mean?
I think if we mix it this way, it'll be like free now. Kobbie's free. That's what it'd be like.
Yeah, free Kobbie. We're gonna get the hashtag soon. It's coming. We've seen it before.
I might use it. I might use it. I might, mate. I want Kobbie to play, so I might use it.
It's coming. Free Kobbie.
Yeah. I was going to say one more thing there, which I can't remember what it is, so it probably wasn't that important. All right. Big up, people. Smash a like on the video. Episode 77 of the Trinity podcast done. Make sure you go check out the Muppeteers. Link in the video description below. Make sure you check it out. Check out the Football Flex. Check out Owen Wrestle News 365. Check out Minute Football. Check out KG Reckless Sports and everybody else's channels who is affiliated with ours. Go show some love, and all the other great creators in the space as well. Just show everyone.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I think. Oh, hold on. There's one more super chat actually. There you go. Aaron says, "Can we play you again this weekend? You got cooked by Dave Artel Cartel."
Cartel.
I like that.
Dave Artel Cartel.
Nice.
Yeah. You can't play us again this week because we're not in the competition. So
I thought we went to League 2.
3 years. 3 years. We'll meet you in the
2.
middle. We'll meet you in the championship in a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. We'll meet you somewhere in the middle. All right, guys. Take care. We're out of here. Peace.